It's one thing to have a big car or truck, and cruising down the street in your oversized set of wheels is certainly impressive, but that doesn't hold a candle to some of the true vehicular monstrosities man has crafted. Whether on the road, in the air, sailing the seas, or even underground, the ingenuity and practicality of these machines are only overshadowed by their sheer, ridiculous, often record-setting size. Here now are 10 of the biggest vehicles on Earth. Big bike is technically accurate, but also the understatement of the millennium. This bike is gargantuan in every sense of the word. In 2014, the Guinness World Records recognized Fabio Reggiani's 2012 creation Big Bike as the largest rideable motorcycle in the world. This phenomenon is 16 feet 8 inches high, weighs over 5.5 tons, and its motor can hold 280 horsepower. For comparison, the average Harley-Davidson boasts between 70 and 85 horses. Riding Big Bike would essentially be like riding a brontosaurus with a rocket strapped to its back. And yes, you can ride it. Kinda. Guinness requires that for a vehicle to be rideable, its driver successfully navigated 100 meters, or around 330 feet. Reggiani did just that, but likely he couldn't have gotten much farther. It's simply too massive, so much so that it requires secondary wheels in the back simply to keep itself upright. Also, imagine riding that thing down the highway and taking up every lane at once, all while trying to hang on to the handlebars that aren't even close to the seat. Still, even if Big Bike is mostly a novelty, it's a fun and amazing one. You think your truck is big? Yours is nothing compared to the actual largest truck on the planet. A plus-size replica of a 1950s Dodge Power Wagon, commissioned by the UAE's ultra-billionaire Sheikh Hamad. Even the tires dwarf the average person, which is to be expected when the entire truck is over 8 times as large as a regular Power Wagon. At a whopping 50 tons, it's also far heavier than the traditional wagon. It's also roomier, as in you can literally live in it. Hamad had an entire house built into the truck, which boasts 4 bedrooms, all air-conditioned of course, a bathroom, a full kitchen, a living room, and even a patio. If you manage to move in or simply want to visit, you enter through the truck's underside via steps installed around the engine. That's right, engine. This massive wagon isn't just a truck-shaped house, it actually is a truck. The engine, taken from an earth mover, works, as do the brakes and suspension. Plus, it's 100% street legal. After all, what motor vehicle department is going to tell the Sheikh he can't drive whatever he wants wherever he wants? The mining and construction fields need large trucks for their large jobs, and the Caterpillar 797 series of haul trucks are just that. Meant for heavy-duty mining and construction purposes, a Caterpillar can haul over 360 tons of material at once, placing it among the most powerful hauling vehicles in the world. For years, the second-generation 797B model was Caterpillar's prized product, capable of hauling 345 tons of payload at once, thanks to a 24-cylinder diesel engine packed with 3,550 horsepower. That was certainly impressive enough on its own, but Caterpillar felt they could do better. In 2009, they did just that with the 797F. This Hulk can handle up to 363 tons of payload and is powered by a 20-cylinder engine boasting a whopping 4,000 horses. Thanks to that extra chunk of juice, the 797F can reach speeds up to 42 miles per hour, just as fast as this proud poppy, but even stronger. Workers certainly aren't complaining, as they can now operate more efficiently and use less fuel, all while sacrificing no time whatsoever. Probably the only thing they want to know is when the next even stronger 797 model will grace their workstations. Something has to move gigantic space shuttles from one place to another, and that something is the NASA Crawler Transporter. Since the 1960s, the 2 crawler transporters have been used by NASA to transport rockets, shuttles, and other spacecraft from their vehicle assembly building to their launch platform. Once the mission is done, the ginormous crawlers take the spacecraft back to the VAB for safekeeping. An incredible 130 feet long and 114 feet wide, with a curb weight of 6 million pounds, the NASA Crawler Transporters certainly are sights to behold. To this day, they remain the largest land vehicles on Earth that run by themselves. They are by no means the largest land vehicles around. A bucket wheel excavator named Bagger 293 and a power shovel called the Captain are significantly bigger, but everything else is externally powered by something else. Among internally self-powered land vehicles, NASA's shuttle ushers have no peer. Not unexpectedly, the crawler transporters have achieved a great deal of fame in their own right. They've been featured on shows like Dirty Jobs, movies like Apollo 13, Transformers Dark of the Moon, and even video games like Fallout 3. In the latter, which is set hundreds of years in the post-apocalyptic future, scavengers actually built a base on and inside one of the crawlers. All you have to do is look at the size of that thing to realize we could probably do that in real life if we absolutely had to. The wise giant, who did not earn that name out of pity. Her weight could exceed 1.2 billion pounds, and her laden draft, or how deep the ship drops when carrying cargo, of 81 feet, meant when not in ballast mode, bodies of water like the English Channel and the Suez and Panama Canals were strictly off limits. The Giant wasn't just the largest supertanker ever, but also quite likely the largest ship ever built, period. The Sea-Wise Giant led quite a life, including a brush with death during the Iran-Iraq War. She was actually sunk in the middle of that conflict, until later being salvaged and fixed up. Given a second chance at service, she lasted a great many years, until finally in 2009 she became the property of Indian shipbreakers, who sailed her to Gujarat and turned her into scrap. Perhaps someday someone will attempt to build a supertanker as large as the Sea-Wise Giant again. But if upcoming vehicles like Rock are any indication, such sheer size might be better reserved for a world that can handle it better.